Hello and welcome to another Ask Nerida Joy video. Today I have again a familiar face with me. I have Thuy with me, and we've done one treatment on her in the past, which was about 3 weeks ago. I have to say I am really impressed with where her skin is right now. And I'm going to put some photos back there so you can see Thuy's skin, how her skin was when I first started working on her. And what's been great is that she's been really good about sending photos over once a week to show the progress. I have her at home using retinols and AHAs, and her skin, if from memory, when I did her 3 weeks ago, I could not believe how dry her levels were in her skin. So because her levels were so dry, her skin looked a lot more pitted than it really was. But I remember working in product into her skin, and it was just like I had to keep putting it on and adding more because her skin was just sucking it up. So the first treatment we did a lot of massage, and I worked in the Flavonoid, and I really just kept feeding it a lot of nutrients. And the one thing that I'm noticing now is just how much smoother her skin is. And I think I said to you last time in the last video, her skin did not bounce back at all. I'm fortunate enough to see her at work sometimes. We work together, and Thuy's skin, every time I see her, I'm just like, oh my God, she's, her skin is brighter. It just looks so much healthier. So it's really starting to look really pretty. And it's just so much healthier than when we first started. So I'm going to cleanse her skin off. And I don't know if you can see there, we're going to have the cameraman come over and show you up close. So here we have a close-up of Thuy's skin, and you can see her skin is just so much healthier. It was really starving of nutrients when we first started working with her. So you can see her cheeks, her pitting just looks, her skin just looks so much better. Now Thuy is an athlete, so she spends a lot of time outdoors, and I'm in awe of how fit she is. But I do know that the outdoory life does play a toll on the skin, and so we're really just now we're feeding it a lot. We're going to get it up to really be accepting and just looking really gorgeous, which we're on the way. We're on the way there. So we're cleansing Thuy's skin. I'm using the non-foaming gel cleanser. And we're just going to do that really good clean, get up underneath all that fine facial hair that we all have on our face, but some more so than others. Thuy doesn't have an abundance on her face, but I do want to remind people the importance of doing circular motions, really getting under that fine facial hair. It's 50% of our regimen, your cleansing. So you want to make sure that you do a really good job and clean the skin really good. So we're just taking off the K cleanser, which is the gel, non-foaming gel cleanser, and I am using disposable sponges. Now what a difference. Thuy's skin looks so much lighter and brighter, doesn't it? I mean, if you remember, if we go back to the pictures earlier when we first saw her, she had a lot more color in the sides of her face. It was very gray and it looked sluggish. The skin looked really sluggish, so it really needed that movement going on. So her skin is a lot brighter now, and it's just so much healthier. It looks significantly better. It's terrific. Okay, we're doing our exfoliating treatment now. This one has the glycolic, it has the papaya enzyme papuan, and it has a little chamomile in it, and it has lemon peel powder. And this one is the exfoliant that has that buffing effect on the epidermis. I feel bad for all you fans out there that are watching every single video I do, because you could probably recite what I'm saying in, I'm sure they're out there saying, it's the exfoliant that has a buffing effect on the epidermis, that contains the papaya enzyme and lemon peel powder. And so thank you for being so patient for all our newer viewers that maybe haven't seen all my previous videos. But this one will feel a little bit tingly on the skin. It has no granules in it whatsoever. It is a really excellent exfoliant. And for someone who has a really sensitive skin, you can use the exfoliant and just mix a little bit of the healing gel with it so that it's not quite as strong. And it, you know, you have the flexibility to be able to even use it on someone who has a super duper sensitive skin with a little bit of rosacea, but maybe you're just going to be using 1/4 of the exfoliant and 3/4 healing gel. So what's nice is that, you know, we, the esthetician, or we, the professional, really have the tools to be able to change things around and make it right for our client's skin, and by diluting certain things. So the healing gel is a great product to be able to dilute anything that, whether it be a treatment product, a cleanser, it can dilute anything, that a mask. So all these wonderful things that we can do with our tools and our hands. It's pretty terrific. So I've worked the exfoliation product in, the exfoliating mask, into the skin for a few minutes, and now I'm taking it off with barely warm water. It's not too hot. You don't want it to be too hot, because the mask is going to be a little bit stingy on the skin, because it does have glycolic in it. Now what glycolic does is it really helps to penetrate and get to those lower levels and dislodge the dead cell buildup. So we get that really smooth surface, and we do get to live cells, which is why you do feel tingling on the skin, because we are affecting live cells when you are working with any of the acids. Okay, so we've cleansed the skin. We have put the exfoliating mask on her skin. Her skin is still going to be a little bit tingly right now, so I'm going to put some healing gel on and just taper that back a little bit, that tingling. And now I'm going to start working in the flavonoid. Now what I am going to do on Thuy today is I'm going to work a little more aggressive, but with the retinols, because the retinols is what's going to be a big plus for Thuy's skin, and just in helping where she's had some pitting, it's going to just help to strengthen her levels underneath. It's going to help improve the texture of her skin enormously. So that's what we're going to work in, as those flavonoids and the retinol serum, the stronger one, the professional one. What I am going to do is I'm noticing around around Thuy's eyes that she's a little dark and she's a little dehydrated. And I don't think I gave you an eye product last time. Did I, Thuy, when you were in?
No.
No, okay. So I am going to give her an eye product today, so she's going to be using it at home twice a day, because her eye area is a little bit dry and she's a little dark around there, and I know we can do better, about 30% better on her eyes. So no double dipping with my Q-tip. I'm just going to be putting some eye gel around her eyes. The eye gel is a really nice product. And I always like, and I tell people, if you get a little puffy or a little dark around the eyes, the gel is terrific. It's good to use a gel at night, so that when you wake up in the morning, it often really helps with puffiness. And in the daytime, sometimes a cream is really good, because it protects that eye area, just having that extra little stick around the eyes for an eye cream. It really helps protect it from the environment, and it's nice to have a gel at night and a cream in the day. But if you are an oily skin and we are in the summer months, often a gel is sufficient, and that's using a gel both in the morning and then at night time as well. So we've put some eye gel around Thuy's eyes. Now I'm grabbing my Q Flavonoid, and I'm going to work this into her skin. This is a product that you see me use on just about everybody because it feeds the skin so many nutrients. It supports the capillary walls. It stops leakage of the little blood vessel, the capillary walls, and it strengthens the blood vessel walls. So as we get older, our skin gets thinner, and it's really important. We want to keep our skin strong and sturdy, and the little blood vessels, often if we retain fluid in the skin, that pushes the little capillaries up to the surface of the skin. People that have a lot of sinus issues end up with blood vessels, burst blood vessels around the sides of the nose. And it just feeds the skin a lot of nutrients, which you cannot get the same type of nutrient when you're taking vitamins internally. And I often say that a lot of what we take internally, we pee out anyway, which is crazy to say that, but it is the truth. So this here is really feeding the skin a lot, and you can just see a change in the skin almost immediately when you start working with the Q flavonoid, because it changes and it feeds all those levels in the skin, and you quickly see change in the skin. The skin looks healthier, it looks prettier, and it looks more youthful, which of course is what we all want. So what we have on Thuy's skin is we've got the Q flavonoid on there right now. Now at this point, I could use steam. I do like to use steam. I don't like to have it too close to the skin. I always have it quite a distance back, but I do like to use steam often. So steam is something that I could be using at this time. I'm choosing not to, only because you can hear me better. When my steam is going, it makes a little bit more difficult for you to hear me. So we're not going to use steam, but it would be absolutely fine to do so. This next product I'm putting on is it's called a retinol formula, and it's a professional product. So it is a stronger retinoid. And I really like to use retinols a lot. I use them myself every evening. And I do layer my skin. I use the Q flavonoid also on my own skin, and I love retinols. And I love retinols for the benefits and how they work on the skin. They work on lessening the depth of wrinkles, but they help scarring. They help lighten freckles, which I happen to have, and they strengthen your lower levels. Even though it makes your skin photosensitive, sensitive to the environment. That's why it's really, you can have a really youthful skin. You've just got to take care of it and protect it and wear good sunscreen. But if you're using retinols, what it does to those dermal levels, and it really forms a strong structure in the skin, and that's super important. So what we have here, most retinols are yellowy color, and we are going to feed the skin some more nutrients here, which is what a retinol is doing. It's also feeding the skin nutrients, but it's also giving it a huge boost. So retinols do stimulate fibroblast cells. Flavonoids do not, but flavonoids have a different purpose on the skin in how they feed the skin. So we're going to work this into the skin. This is, you can feel it's got some consistency with it, and I really like to work with products that I know are really getting in there and doing a really good job with feeding the skin. Now, retinols are so great in all the different benefits they have for the skin. They're really good for shrinking pore size. They're really good for lessening the depth of wrinkles. It helps make the skin strong and sturdy. It definitely takes years off the skin. And the one negative about a retinol is that it does make the skin photosensitive. So if you are choosing to use a retinol, don't even consider using one unless you are going to be using a sunscreen every single day. You have to use sunscreen every single day if you are using retinols. And when you go away, if you're planning on going on a vacation somewhere over the summer, what's really important is that you have to make sure that your SPF is at least a 40, an SPF 40 plus, because you need to protect your skin really well. At least living here in California, in Los Angeles, the sun is we have a lot of sun living here in Los Angeles. But the one thing about the sun here is that we do have pollution to filter some of the sun's rays. Now, when you go away to an island, maybe it's Hawaii or or Cabo or somewhere in Mexico, the sun there is very different and it's very strong, and a lot of people come back from their summer vacation with melasma and things that they've never had before. So what's really important is to know that, you know, when you do go away to these places, if you do not have the pollution, you are going to be outdoors in the sun a lot, you are swimming, you're getting reflection from the water, you want to make sure that you really are layering on your sunscreen. Now, to maintain an SPF of, say, a 40, you have to be putting that sunscreen on every 20 minutes. And that's how often it's supposed to be applied to your face to maintain the SPF, the number of the SPF that's on your bottle. So that's a complete pain for us all to be having to put sunscreen on so frequently. But what you might want to do is you might want to put a layer of sunscreen on your face, or sunblock, and wait a few minutes and then put another layer on and just coat it a few times before you do go out. But I do say to people, if you are going to be going away for the summer and you are a retinol user, you use it on a regular basis, you want to make sure that maybe you want to stop using your retinol a couple of weeks prior to you going away on vacation, so that your skin isn't going to be quite as photosensitive. So I think that you can certainly pick it up again when you come back, but you've just got to really sort of think about the sun. Very often is very strong in a lot of these places, and as I said, there's no pollution filtering the rays, and you just want to make sure that you're really protecting your skin as well as you can. There is so much reflection from the water if you're swimming, and you just want to really be extra careful when you are going away to a sunny place. So what I've done here, I've applied the Q Flavonoid and I've worked it into the skin, and now I've put on the retinol formula, which is a retinoid formula, which is a professional product. I've worked it into Thuy's skin, and I've talked about sunscreens. We've just discussed sunscreens, but what is some different things that we need to add to this? And people ask, is it important to put a sunscreen on before your moisturizer, or is it important to put it on after your moisturizer? Now, most brands, you will be putting your sunscreen or your sunblock on after you it's the last thing that goes on your skin. It's really important to understand that if your application is important, because if a container says it's an SPF 50, and you're only putting a very small amount on your hands and onto your face, then it's probably not going to be a 50, so that you're actually getting the protection that you're getting. So you want to make sure, be very generous with your sunscreen. And some brands will tell you to put it on before you put your moisturizer, but that's not many brands that will say that. Most brands of sunscreen, it is the last thing that goes on your face. Now, when I use my sunscreen, I put my sunscreen on after my moisturizer, and then my makeup also has a sunscreen in it, which is a 60. So I really cover up and do extra layers, because I have freckles and I don't want them to come out. So I do layer, and I believe, like my serums, I believe that you should layer with your sunscreen, and it's just really, really important. So I'm actually here. What I'm going to do with Thuy, her skin has sucked this into her skin. I'm going to do another layer, another application of first the Q Flavonoid, and then I'm going to do another layer of the retinoid formula. So we are just going to feed her skin like we did in the first video. We just kept putting more and more on, and just because her skin, it keeps sucking it up. So we're just going to keep going with it. And really, as an esthetician working on skin, you can tell what a skin needs when you're working on it. You can see if somebody's cleansing right, if they're not. Her skin just really requires a lot of nutrients, and we're going to keep layering it and just get it to a place where I can see she doesn't need it anymore. So this is not something I usually do on people, but I feel her skin really needs it. And as I said, it is an unusual case. She spends a lot of time outdoors. She's an extraordinary athlete. I mean, her body is insane when it comes as an athlete. It's very tight and very toned. So it's pretty awesome. So we are working we've started on our double layering of our Q Flavonoid. I'm working it into her skin again. I'm going to put this one right up around her eyes. Her eyes are a little bit dehydrated. We've already put one application of the eye gel on, but we can see she's still a little bit dehydrated around her eyes. So I am going to be using some of the Q. We're going to really coat her skin well. We're going to really get it into the skin and work it into her skin so that it's really absorbing and taking in all these good nutrients. Okay, so we've got a flavonoid, and then we've got the retinoid formula on, and then I put another flavonoid on, another coating of the flavonoid and another coating of the retinoid, and we are now going to work that in. So we're doubling up on both our coatings here just to really get this into her skin. And I'm going to be massaging this into her skin for about another 5 to 8 minutes, and her skin is just sucking it all up. So we want that and we like that, and we're just going to keep working it into the skin. So we're working in our second coating of our retinoid formula. We've doubled up with our flavonoid and our retinol, and we are just working it into the skin there. And I really want to get up under this fine facial hair because Thuy has her scarring right down here on these sides of the face. So we want to make sure we're really getting under that fine facial hair. We're working it in, we're stimulating it, we're getting that lymphatic system going. And the retinol is so wonderful. Of course, this is not prescription strength, but it is a professional product. It is cosmeceutical strength, and we're working it in here to the skin. It's going to really help lessen the depth of her scars. It's going to improve the texture of her skin, and it's going to keep her pore size small. It's going to hydrate those levels, and it's just going to keep those her pores is actually very, very small really around her nose. Want to make sure you do that upper lip area. I'm going to get around the eyes. Now, I don't often prescribe a retinol in eye products because the eye area is a very, very sensitive area. So as a booster, to do something with a little retinol around the eyes every so often, and that, you know, could be once a week or once every 10 days, it's okay. But I usually don't recommend people using an eye cream on a regular basis that has retinol in it. This eye area is just too thin, the skin, and it's too sensitive and too delicate. So it's okay to use it every so often, but not on a daily basis. I'm working in these serums into Thuy's skin because this is what's really going to help her skin. There's not an abundance of things that are going to be better than what I'm doing right now. Is her skin needs the nutrients, it needs the feeding, and this is what's going to get her skin in really good shape very quickly, is just working it into the skin, working these products into the skin. The retinoid formula, the Q Flavonoid together are amazing in how they work on the skin. And we're just going to do, I'm going to do the forehead. I'm going to do some massage movements more on the forehead, right up here, around her eyes. Massage is really important for the skin. It stimulates muscle tone and it really helps to move the lymphatic system. As we get older, and as for all of us, myself included, on my forehead I do a little Botox on my 11s, and what happens when you do Botox, it creates obviously stillness, and by this having stillness in the face, we are not getting the movement. It's not moving our lymphatic system the same. So we want to make sure that massage is really important. You want to make sure that you're constantly massaging your own products into your skin at home, doing circular motions. I use my knuckles when I'm doing around my jawline, my neck. I always around my lip, just trying to do movements really important. So put a little effort into that as well. I mean, I know you're going to be putting more effort into your cleansing because I talk about that a lot. It's really important that we cleanse our skin correctly. But when you're massaging in your products, you're putting on your serums and your treatment products, you want to massage them into the skin and just get the circulation going, bringing oxygen to the blood, You want to do that because it's really important and it's what keeps your skin young and youthful. I really like these zigzag moves across the forehead here. It just, not only does it feel good, it's really good for the skin on our forehead. Get that going. It's the circulation, working in those treatment products in there, doing the 11s here. So what I've done, I've worked in the Q Flavonoid, I've worked in the Retinoid formula, which is a professional product. I've done 2 layers of each on her skin. I've massaged it into her skin just because her skin really needs it. So one thing, looking at Thuy's skin, that's going to really pick her skin up, it's going to brighten it up, it's going to make her skin look more youthful. It just needs that, it needs those nutrients. I've worked in 1 application of the eye gel around her eyes. I have more eye gel on my Q-tip. I'm going to be putting another application. We also put the Q Flavonoid around her eyes and work that in around her eye area. But even her eye area is still really dry. I asked Thuy if I gave her an eye gel to take home with her. When we saw her 3 weeks ago, she said no. So I am sending her home today with an eye product. I may actually give her the cream. I think her eye area is really dry. So I need for her to start using something twice a day around her eyes in a complete circle. So I'm putting more of that in. Now what I have is I'm leaving the retinoid on her skin. I'm leaving the retinoid formula and the Q Flavonoid on her skin right now, and I'm going to be putting a mask on her skin. Thuy's skin is very clean. She does not need extractions. So, you know, sometimes when our clients come in, we look at their skin and we analyze their skin and we see what we're going to do each time they come in. Now, some of our clients we see very regularly. It could be once a week. It could be once every 3 weeks, it could be once a month, or once every 6 weeks, or once every 3 months. But either way, every time they come in, we look at their skin and say, okay, well, what do we need to do to their skin today to make their skin better? Because that's my job, is to, even with a good skin, is to make a skin better. We can always improve our client's skin. So now we're looking at, I'm looking at Thuy's skin. Her skin is very clean. So I know she's doing a really, really good job with her cleansing at home with her products. But what I need to do is constantly be feeding her skin. I'm going to leave these on her skin. Her skin feels a little bit tacky, a little bit sticky to the touch. I'm going to be putting on a mask that is a sea mineralizing mask. It again has a lot of nutrients in it. It is the powders, the 2 powders together here. This one here is the Serum mineralizing mask that I'm using. And you have to mix the powders together before you apply it to the skin. So you have to mix them like this. And then what I do is I prepare the skin, I prepare the hairline to make sure these masks, that we don't want to get it onto her hair. So I like to put tissue around the sides. And just to protect my towels, because it's difficult to get off the towels, is I always put 2 tissues either side here. I'm going to cover her eyes now that I put 2 layers of the eye product around her eyes. So I'm using cotton rounds. I don't want it to be too thick around her eyes because I want to make sure that when I put the mask on her skin that I'm getting really close to her eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate my cotton and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm just going to put the half like this over her eyes. And what that's going to do is it's going to give me more room to be able to get up close with her eye area, under her eye area, and also on her eyelids. Now I'm mixing, it's just water that we add, and now I'm going to mix it. I love all the different masks, it's so fun. I saw Jordan Samuel just the other day, and we were talking about masks, and I said to him, which I will share with you, I said to him that the thing with the sheet masks, there's so many different kinds of sheet masks out there now, that you know, they're really just gauze soaking in a serum. So as much as I love to work with them, because I love layering my masks, I would not just put a sheet mask on a skin, just a plain skin. I like to layer. So if I'm going to put one type of mask on the face, it might be a purifying mask, it might be an herbal mask, it might be a firming mask, but then I'm going to layer it with a sheet mask, which often might be a hyaluronic acid sheet or a collagen sheet mask. But these sheet masks, I really like to work with them layering. So that's just what I like to do personally. I love the freezer-dried collagen. I think that's great, all the different collagen masks that I think they're terrific. I don't put them in the same category as a sheet mask, but a lot of these sheet masks, they really are just masks that you can, it's gauze soaking in a serum. And I'm often going to do that layer with the gauze and a serum or a sheet mask as just my second coating of my mask. So I'm just going to stand up here so I have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. Get it on here as quickly as we can so that it doesn't. So what's really nice when you're using these masks is they're really hydrating on the skin. They offer a lot of nutrients. You know, there's different ones. There's a pearl silk, there's brightening, there's hydrating. There's a different kinds of masks, but there's so many great properties in all the different masks that we have to use that you can really have a lot of fun with them and do all kinds of things with the skin, which is just so great. So we want to always make sure that we take care of that upper lip area, that a lot of people really deal with these fine vertical lines, which we're going to be covering a lot when we move on to our drier skin types. We're going to be anti-aging treatments videos, which we're going to be starting shortly. So we want to make sure we get up really close up under that eye area. And the nice thing about these masks is they don't set super duper tight where it's uncomfortable. They feel like they're hydrating within themselves. Again, this, you know, they all feed the skin some type of nutrient. So remember, underneath this mask, we have the Flavonoid and we have the Retinoid formula. So she's really, we're layering here, which is what I really love to do. And I find it really benefits the skin enormously when you can do that. Okay, so we have on Thuy's skin, we've got the Flavonoid, we've got the Retinoid formula, we've done double layers of that, we've done double layers with her eye product to really feed her skin. We've got this remineralizing mask on her skin now, which again is going to feed her skin a lot of nutrients because it's all about feeding her skin a lot of nutrients. She has spent a lot of time outdoors. And people that have spent a lot of time outdoors, their skin is lacking a lot of nutrients. It's just the way it is. So what I do have here is my 4x4 gauze. This is a really soft gauze. It's a really nice gauze. I like to do this here, lay this over the face. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press down on the mask because I want to mold it to her face. If I don't have gauze on and I try molding, I'm going to get it all over my hands because it does take a little while to dry. So we are going to just lay this on her face. And now what I'm going to do is press down. And we're going to just sort of really mold it in and just get it in there with it. Mold it to her face. So while we have this on her face, we could do a mask on her décolleté. That would be something that would be nice. Or you could do a nice hand or foot and lower leg massage. That would also be something that would be nice to do for your client. So this particular mask, you could leave it on the skin for about 8 to 10 minutes. It could also stay on 15 minutes if you needed that time. But a good time is about 10 minutes generally. So, and by that time it's dried really nicely. So we are going to leave that on her skin to dry. Okay, so we've left the mineralizing mask on her Thuy's skin for it's been on about 8, almost 10 minutes, I think, somewhere there. So we're going to take it off now. It comes off in one sheet, and that's what we're going to do now is take it off. So we start from the bottom, and you just pull it up this way here, like this. And it comes off almost in one sheet. There we go. Alrighty. And then that goes in the trash. So, wow, look how good her skin looks. That's fantastic. It looks amazing. I am just going to, once you've done this, you don't want to use a full towel and take everything off on that you've just done. So I'm just going to clean up around the edges of her hair where she has a little bit of the mask. They often get a little bit in the eyebrows. And there's just sort of little bits that are left around the mouth area, maybe around the nose that you just want to clean up. Get rid of the little bits of mask, but you don't want to take the whole thing off. You just want to clean it up a little bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to put another coat on her skin of the Flavonoid and the Retinoid. Now remember, that was all left on her skin before. We did 2 coats of each. We did 2 coats of the eye product. I'm going to put 1 more coat on the whole skin. Her skin feels amazing. And I don't know if you can see here, we'll have to have the cameraman come over again and just show you what her skin looks like here, how great it looks before we go ahead and move on. So we're looking at Thuy's skin here. It looks so healthy. It's so pretty. We've got the layers of the Q Flavonoid. We've got the retinoid formula. We've done the remineralizing mask on her skin. Everything's been left on her skin except we've just taken the mask off. I'm now going to put another layer of everything on her skin. That's going to be the eye product, the Flavonoid and the retinoid formula. And her skin is just looking amazing. It's looking so great. So here we go. We're putting 1 more application of the eye product around her eyes. And it's quite late over here, so she is just going to be going. We're not double dipping. We're using the other end of the Q-tip, putting it in our eye product here, which is our gel. It's nice if you have a gel and an eye cream. It is nice to use your gel in the evenings because that way it does help with puffiness and dark circles, and that's often how we wake up. For a lot of people, they do wake up quite puffy, so it's nice when you can use an eye gel in the evenings to prevent that. So we put the eye gel around her eyes in a complete circle around her eyes. I've got an application here of the Q Flavonoid. I'm just putting another coating of the Q Flavonoid on her skin. And we're just going to pat this one in. Her skin's a little bit sticky from all the other layers that I've done before. So we'll pat this one into her skin right now. And then we've got our retinoid formula. I'm just putting a couple of drops on, and again we're going to be patting that into her skin. And she's now got 3 coats of all of that on her skin, and that's how she's going to go to sleep. And I wish I was going to be looking at her skin in the morning because I know it's going to be fabulous. She'll have to send us a picture. So we shall ask her to send us a picture. So she has that on her skin, and this is how she goes to bed. It looks amazing. It looks so great. So what this retinoid is going to do for her too is it's going to strengthen her layers, which is what we want. We want her pitting to fill out, so her skin, it looks a lot smoother. It is a lot smoother. It's a lot lighter and brighter from her previous photo that we're really sort of keeping good track of her weekly record, how she's doing with her skin, because all of her work has been by just what she's using at home. This is today her 2nd facial, and she's been really good about her home care regimen, which is terrific. So we look forward to seeing her again in a few weeks, which is when we're going to do our next video. And Thuy is done for the evening. So thank you, Thuy. Thank you so much for coming in after your long day of work. Thank you for being with us again for another video, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.